Hello everyone, in this video we will make a simple to-do list app using React. So I've made this wireframe in Adobe XD, you can take a look. Let me use desktop preview. So as you can see, this is the wireframe that I've created in Adobe XD. So we will be creating something like this in React. So there will be one button. Using this we will create task, and when task will be created, it will be shown in cards like this. And every card will have edit icon and delete icon. Edit will be used for updating the card content, like in this case we have task name and task description. So using edit we will be able to update the task details, and with delete you can delete the task and this card will be removed. Okay, cool. So now first of all we will create a React starter project. So open terminal, and in terminal type npx create react app, and then you can type the name of your project. So for me it will be to-do list. So I've already executed this command. So first of all, execute this command in terminal. This will create the React starter project for you. So I've already created the React starter project. So you can open it in any code editor that you want to use. I will be using VS Code. So first start the development server. So for that you can open a terminal and you can execute npm start, or you can also use yarn. If you're using yarn, you can type yarn start. So make sure that you have installed yarn in your system, then only you can start the server using yarn. I've already started up my development server. So it's available on localhost 3000. So right now I'm having this React starter project. So let's first of all clear this code. So go to source directory, and inside this clear all the code that is inside the app.js. So delete this from here to here. Okay, cool. Now also delete the CSS which we have in app.css. So just do Control A and delete it. Now save it. So for now we will be having an empty page over here. So first let's start with creating our own component for to-do list. We will be using a separate folder for that. Create a separate folder. Let's give it name components. So this folder will be inside source directory. Inside this component we will create all of our components. So our first component will be to-do list, which is a home page for our web page. So inside this we will create functional component. You can also use class component, it's a wish. So I'm using one extension for creating functional component. You can just directly press RSC and you can press tab. So as you can see, it will automatically create functional component structure for you. If you want to know the name of this extension, you can go to extension tab over here on the left side, and you can download this React.js code snippet library from here. Okay, cool. Then you can easily create functional component by just typing some small snippets. Okay, so inside this we will write one heading, and it will be, let me see my wireframes. So it will be to-do list. So write to-do list, and beneath this we will be having one button. So you can write button, and its text will be create task. Okay, cool. So save it, and let's see how our web page is looking right now. Okay, I forgot to import it. So in app.js you need to import this. So write import and to-do list from, and then you can type the address / inside components folder, it's to-do list. Okay, now you can directly use to-do list component here. Okay, let's see now. So go to localhost 3000. Okay, wait, it is compiling. Okay, yeah, we have got the heading and we have got the button. So let's use Bootstrap in React project. So how to install Bootstrap? Open a new terminal, and here you need to install Bootstrap using npm or using yarn. If you're using npm, you need to write npm install Bootstrap. Okay, and if you're using yarn, you need to write yarn add and then Bootstrap. So I'll be using yarn. So you can type this yarn add Bootstrap. Okay, so it will take some time to load all the libraries of Bootstrap. Okay, as you can see, Bootstrap is properly installed. Now what we will do in app.js, we will import the Bootstrap library. So for that you can write import and you can type bootstrap slash dist slash css slash bootstrap dot min dot css. Okay, so bootstrap is properly imported, so it will be available to all components now. You don't need to import it everywhere in all the components. You just need to import it in the app.js so that it's available to all the components. Now let's go to to-do list component, and here let's use bootstrap. So first of all, we will be using bootstrap class in button, so you can type class name and we will give it bootstrap class button primary, so it will give it a blue color. So let's see, save it and let's go to our web page. Wait a minute, my server must be down. Let me check. Yeah, it's compiling, it is taking time, sometimes it happens. Okay, oh wait, yeah, so as you can see, button color is changed. Now let's see our wireframes again. So everything is in center, so let's do that first. So first what we will do, we will create two divs. First div will be this and second div will be this. So let's create two divs. So inside this, okay, what you can do is let's wrap everything in an empty tag, and inside this let's create two div. So first div will be this, which we have already created, which will contain our heading and button, and second div will contain all the, you can say, cards. So let's give it some meaningful class. So it will be a task container. Okay, and our first div is let's give it class name, you can say header. So we will give it text center class, which will make all its content to the middle. Let's see, save it and let's wait for it to compile. Okay, now let's see our web page. So as you can see, everything is in center. So let's give some height to this division. So you can write style. Okay, either you can do by this way or you can define the classes in app.css. So we have already given this class to this division, so take this class and inside app.js we will use this one. So write dot header and we want height for this, let's say 200 pixels, width will be 100%. Okay, let's see. Okay, don't use comma, it will be semicolon. Okay, now save it, and yeah, you won't be able to see it right now. So let me give some background color to this. So we will be using this color, so you can click over here and you can check the color from here. So it's this one, copy it and paste it over here. So you can type background color. Okay, don't use inverted comma, and just paste it over here. Now save it and let's see. Yeah, it came. Now let's give some, yeah, height 200 pixels is not that much. Let's give it 500 pixels. Let's see. Height is not, why it is happening? Okay, don't use inverted comma, I always forget this. Yeah, it is too much, so give 300. Save it. Okay, it's still too much. Let's give it 240, 30. Okay, yeah, this much is fine. Okay, let's take it 200, it will be fine. Yeah, and give some margin to this. We want this thing just somewhat here in between, so we will give it some margin. So you can do that by just giving it class name, or you can also type styles. So give it margin top 3. So it is bootstrap class. Let's save it, and yeah, why it is happening? It is giving margin to whole component. Okay, so rather than doing this, let's don't give it class, we will give padding to the division. So let's give padding to this header. So I'll write padding top will be, let's say, 100 pixels. Let's see. Yeah, we give it too much. It will be, let's say, 50. Yeah, so we have got our heading and create task button in the middle. Let's also give a margin to this button. Let's say empty 2, margin top 2. Okay, save it. And yeah, now it's looking good. Okay, so now what we want is when we click on this button, some pop-up should open, and in that pop-up there will be one form. In that form we will enter the details of the task, like we will enter task name and we will enter description of that task. Okay, in that form one button will be there, like it will be save button, and when you click on save button our task will be created and one card will be shown over here with the task details that you just entered in the form. Okay, so for this we will be using the React Strap library. So let's search React Strap. Okay, I will mention the URL of this. It's reactstrap.github.io. So it is similar to Bootstrap, but this Bootstrap is basically for React components. Okay, so you can go to component section. Here let's search for models. So models are like pop-up. So you can see the example. When you click on this, this type of pop-up will open. So we also want the same functionality in our project. So here instead of this we will be having one form, and when we click on this button that form will get submit, and whatever you have filled in that task will be created according to that. Okay, cool. So let's first of all install this library in our React project. So open the terminal in VS Code. Here you can type npm install React Strap, or you can write yarn. So I will be using yarn, so I will write yarn add React Strap. So wait for some time. Okay, so React Strap library is properly installed. Now go to React Strap website again and let's copy this import statement. So we will copy it and let's create a separate folder for the pop-up. So you can create a separate folder in source directory. Let's give it name pop-up, or you can type it models. So inside this you can create all your models. So let's create our file for the pop-up. We can give it name create task.js. Type RSC and you can press tab. So let's paste the import statement at the top. Okay, let's see the code for the pop-up. So you can see this. Okay, you don't need the button, we just need the model. So you can just copy this from up to here, copy this and paste it here. Let's give some indentation. Okay, cool. Okay, now save it. And in this, as you can see, how many variables are there which are dynamic. Like this variable is dynamic, you need it from the JavaScript file, which is right now not available. So you need the toggle function, which is not available here. Let's delete this, we don't need it. So as you can see, in this component we have two dynamic variables. First is the model state and second is the toggle function. So we will be passing these two properties from our to-do list component as a props. So you can just destructure props here. You can type curly braces and you can destructure your properties, like you can type model and comma toggle function. So we have destructured our props here. So we will pass this model and toggle from to-do list component. So let's see how we will do it. So here you need to first import your pop-up. So you can write import create task from dot slash, and it's inside not dot slash, double dot. Now models, and its name is create task. Okay, now let's call it like at the bottom. So you can type create task self closing tag. So inside this we will pass two props. So first will be toggle, and this will contain toggle function, or you can give it any name, it's your wish. And second will be, let me check, it's model. So you can type model equals to model. Okay, cool. Now let's define this state. So this is a state, actually. You can check it over here in the website. So as you can see, this is a state. So let's copy this line, or you can also type it, it's your wish. So let's paste it at the above in the function. Let's also import use state above. So you can type comma and use destructuring braces and use state. Okay, so it is successfully created. State is created. Now we will create this toggle function. So using toggle, what will happen, as you can see here, using toggle they are just changing the model state. Okay, so let's create this function, const toggle equals to, so this function will just simply set your model to the opposite of your previous model state. Okay, cool. So yeah, we have created the pop-up, but we have to associate model with the button. Like when we click on this button, this model should open. So how it will open? As you can see in the pop-up, it is writing here that it will open only when the model state will be true. So it is sure, like it is, now you know like what you need to do. You need to associate one function over here which will just set the model state to true. Then only this pop-up will like open. So let's create one function here, on click handler. So when this button is clicked, what we will do is we will just set the model state to true so that our pop-up will open. Okay, cool. Now save it and let's see whether everything is working fine or not. Okay, so it is compiling. Now go to browser and let's check. So when we click on this, a pop-up should open. So yeah, as you can see, a pop-up is getting opened. So let's first of all change the title and also change this content. Here we want the form and also change the button text. We want here like create or something, create task, it's a wish. So let's open our pop-up file. Here let's change the title, it will be create task, and inside this let's delete it. It will contain one form. Okay, save it and let's also change the text of this button. It will be create. Save it and let's see whether changes are visible in the browser or not. Yeah, as you can see, title is changed and button is also changed. Okay, cool. Now let's create a form. So inside this we will use Bootstrap classes to make our form look good. So we will write div, and this div will have class form group. So this is a Bootstrap class, you can check it out in Bootstrap official website. Let's create one more div. This will be exactly same like above. It will be form group. So it will contain the input box. So you can write input type text, and you can also, okay, let's for now just take an input box, and inside this we will be having a text area to type the description of the task. So you can type text area, and inside text area, okay, this will be having rows, let's say 5. Okay, cool. Now save it and let's check it out on a browser. Wait for some time, it is compiling. Okay, so yeah, let's use Bootstrap classes in these input boxes. So for that you can give class to it. So you can write class name and it will be form control. And similarly to this text area, you can type class name equals to form control. Save it and let's see. Yeah, now our form is looking good. So let's also write some labeling to this, like we don't know what to type here. So for that we will use labels. So you can write label. So this will be task name and this will be description. So write label and this will be description. Okay, cool. Save it and let's check it. Okay, so now our form is looking good. So here we will type the task name and here we will type description, and when we click on create, one card should be created over here. So first of all, we need to create states for these input boxes. Like when we type here something and when we click on create, then we should be able to know in the parent component like what you have written over here. So for that we need to use states. In that states we will store the information of this form. So let's create a state. So you can write const. So first state will be to store the task name. So you can give it name task name, and handler to update it, its name, let's say set task name. So you can use state, and initially its value will be empty. Let's also create one more state. It will be used for storing the description. So you can give it name description, and its handler to update it, its name will be set description. Use state, initially its value will also be empty. Now we need to associate these values with input boxes. So for that you can type value parameter. You can write value equals to the name of your state, which is task name, and similarly for this text area type value equals to description. Okay, cool. Save it. And one problem will be here. Okay, wait a minute. Use state is called in function create task that is neither a React function or component. Let me check what is happening. Okay, so now it's compiled successfully. So actually the issue was like you never give name in lowercase. Actually I have given the name in small letters. Like I gave it name create task. As you can see, C is small here. So you never give name of a component as in lowercase because React treat it like a hook. So you need to, whenever you are creating a component, make sure that you're writing component in uppercase. Like first letter should be uppercase, or you can simply say it's Pascal case. Okay, so make sure that component name is in Pascal case as well as file name also for components only. But when you're creating hooks, then it can be lowercase. Okay, cool. So let's see. So now one issue will be here, like you will not be able to type anything here because we have associated state with all these input boxes. So in React what happens, like with these input boxes we have created state, so we won't be able to update it. Only these input boxes will be able to update it. So for updating it, we need to have one handler function over here. So let's associate one handler function with all the input boxes. So you can type on change. So whenever anything changes inside this input box, we want to update the state so that we would be able to see like what user has typed in the form. So let's give it name handle change. Okay, just copy it and paste it in the text area. Cool. Now let's create this handle change function. So this handle change function will contain the default parameter, which is event. So first of all, we will grab the name and we will grab the value of input box. So for now we haven't given any name to the input boxes. So make sure to give the name to the input boxes, because whenever you submit a form, those name will get passed. So write name equals to, for this input box we will give it name task name, and for this we will give it name description. So its name will be description. Okay, so let's grab these values here. So you can grab it by writing e.target.name, and similarly here e.target.value. okay, you can also do one shortcut here, like you can directly type const and you can use curly braces to destructure it from e.target. So you can write directly name comma value equals to e.target. So you don't need to write these two lines, you can do it in one line only. So what is happening here, you are extracting name and value from this object e.target. Now what we will do comparison, like if name equals to what task name, then we want to update the state this one. So you can directly write set task name So what is the value in the input box? It is stored in this. So you can directly write here value. Else we want to update the description state, so you can write set description and this will be value. Okay, cool. Now let's check it in the browser. It's taking too much time to compile. I don't know why it is happening. It's very strange. Okay, now wait a second. Okay, so when you click on it, so now as you can see, I'm able to type it here. Like I'm able to type something here and you're able to see it because we have associated the handler function with the input boxes. So now what we want to do is when we click on create button, in the parent component, card should get created with this information. Okay, so let's do it. So how we will do it? So for that, in the parent component, we have to create one function. So let's first of all create one state that will be an array, and in that array we will store all the tasks that user has created. So you can write const and let's give it name task list and set task list. So it will be initially an empty array, and whenever we click on create button, this array will get updated with the tasks that user has created. So let's create one function to do that. So its name will be save task, and initially what it will take an object, task object. So we will directly push this task object to this task list array. So how to do it? So let's first of all grab the array. So you can write let temporary list equals to task list. Now in this temporary list, let's push the task object. Now when our temporary list is updated, let's also update our initial task list array. So you can directly write set task list to this temporary list. Cool. So let's pass this save task function to this popup, so that this popup should be able to use this function and push the task in this array. Okay. It is giving me some error. Okay, yeah, I have written the wrong name. Okay, now let's pass this save task function in the popup. For that, what you can do is you can write here save equals to, in this we will pass the save task function. Okay, cool. In the popup, let's destructure it. You can write here comma and you can grab the property. You can type the name save. Okay, here what we will do is we will create a button. Okay, it's already created. So in this you can associate one function. Let's give it name save. Wait a second. Let's give it name handle save. Okay, you can give it any name, it's your wish. So inside this handle save, what we will do is, so we will make one object. So you can give it name task object. Initially it will be empty, and it will be having two properties. First will be name of your task. So it will be, okay, you can grab the name of your task from this state. So you can directly write here task name, and another property will be description. Okay, and you can grab description from this state. Its name is description. Okay, cool. Now we will call the save function which we have created here in the component. So you can now call this function. So you can write save, because we have destructured it in the save. So write save, and inside this we will pass this task object. So this function, what it will do is it will push this task object in this array, in this one task list. Okay, so you can also check it here in the task container. Let's loop over the task list array. You can type curly braces, and inside this write task list dot map. Inside this we will have one callback function, and this callback function will have access to all the objects inside this array. So you can give it any name. So let's write list items. So every list item will contain, let's say, use curly braces, and you can type name of your object and then dot, and you can access the property of the object. So we have given name and description to this object, so you can write obj.name. So we're just confirming whether we are getting, in a parent component, this task list or not. So let's confirm it, and then instead of list items we will use cards. So let's see. So here let's refresh it again and click on create task, and let's type something here: React learn React concepts. Save it. Okay, you need to do one thing, that you need to refresh. Okay, don't refresh it, you just need to close this model, then we will be able to see it. So what you can do is, after setting the array, you can just set the model state to false, so that your pop-up will get closed. So save it again, and let's check it now whether we are getting list items or not. Okay, let's create our task again. So let's give it name anything, learn React series. Save it, and as you can see, we are getting list items over here. Let's create one more task. Let's give it name JavaScript. So learn JS series, create. So yeah, as you can see, we are getting list items. Okay, I think this video has already gone too long, so what I will do is I will make the second part in next video. So in the next video I will be using cards instead of list items. So whenever we are creating task, cards will be shown over here, just like we have seen in the wireframes. So in the next video we will do that. So see you in the next video. Thank you.